fashion is very important. And recently I've been discovering a parallel between fashion and something else. Pictures. You know, guys roast other guys that take pictures. There was this one time I went to Las Vegas and I went for a bachelor party, and I knew the groom, but the groom invited a bunch of his other friends that I didn't know like that. The first couple of days, we ended up getting to know each other. And by our final night there, I guess a lot of us were comfortable with each other to roast each other. I wasn't aware of this, but one of the guys thought he was comfortable enough to roast me. So what happened was we were walking down the streets of Vegas. And if you ever go to Vegas, there's this one tower that looks just like the Eiffel Tower. And I thought that was so cool. It was like, hey guys, wait, one of you guys take me a picture with the Eiffel Tower in the back. And as soon as I said that, a bunch of the guys were like, what? This guy wants to take a picture? Only girls like to take pictures. And what happened was a lot of the guys started to look at me sideways. And there was this one guy, let's call him Peter, who was making fun of me a lot. You know, I'm over here standing in front of the Eiffel Tower posing like, trying to be in the vibe. And he keeps saying, yo, man, that's so gay. Look at Armani taking a picture. Ha ha, gay. And he keeps saying that. And I'm over here trying to concentrate, trying to smile. But his criticisms, it's getting louder. Oh, that's gay, bro. I'm telling you, that's gay. And at that point, I'm like, yo, will you shut the hell up? I mean, I'm trying to take a picture. And I said it in a way where I think he got that I wasn't joking around. And he shut up. And what happened afterwards, once I found some pictures that I guess I could post on my Instagram, which, by the way, it's on Instagram, ArmaniTalks _. That's my handle. The guy that was making fun of me comes up to me and is like, oh, man, you want to take a picture for me too? I thought he was just saying that because he felt somewhat bad for making fun of me like that. And I was like, all right, whatever. I guess I'll take a picture for you too. So I take a picture for him. I'm thinking that's the end of it. Nope. Recently, we ended up becoming IG friends. And I noticed that picture that I took for him in Las Vegas with the Eiffel Tower lookalike in the back, that's his profile picture on IG to this day. I looked at his IG, and that picture is great quality, in my opinion, with an amazing backdrop. His other 2 to 3 pictures are so freaking bad. It's blurry. It doesn't look good. It makes him look bad. And this guy is a dentist, a very charming dentist with a lot of money. But if someone were to look at his profile for the first time, they think something about him is off. And that's when I began to realize that these pictures that we are taking, it's very important. It's very important because it presents ourselves in a good light to the public. And I noticed that a lot of guys, they marginalize this. Just like they marginalize fashion. They're like, oh man, fashion, it's for girls. They do the same thing with photography. It's almost identical. Or they say, nah man, photos, I don't do stuff like that. And what's strange is that it doesn't matter if you want to do stuff like that or not. That's like me sort of saying, I'm not going to write anymore. If you are a part of society, at times you're going to have to write something. Maybe you're filling out some sort of application. Maybe you have to write a letter of recommendation for a friend who asked you. Maybe you have to respond back to a text because it's an emergency. You saying something like, oh, I'm not going to write anymore, means absolutely nothing because you have to. And nowadays, with photography, it's becoming virtually the same thing. Where if you say, well, I'm not going to take pictures, dude, you're probably going to have to take pictures at some point. Whether it's you're making a LinkedIn profile, you're making a dating profile, maybe you have to give a picture for a certain event that you're attending because the host just wants you to. Pictures are eventually going to be a good thing for you to focus on. And, I'm not a photo connoisseur or anything. I don't know that much about photography. But one thing that I would recommend is that do your best to make sure that the photo is clear and do your best to get you in the picture. a lot of guys, they have this habit of chopping someone else's head off when they're taking a picture and they're like, there, I took it. It looked good, right? No, dude. I mean, half my head is missing. I mean, can you get all of me, please? And, there's more advanced moves, such as don't have too much of a background, zoom in if possible, unless the backdrop is very amazing, sort of like that Eiffel Tower story I was telling you earlier. These are some tips. But I could also talk about what not to do. I was actually setting up a dating profile for one of my old school fraternity brothers, and he is a very charming guy. And he is like, man, I don't get enough matches. I think it's because I'm 5'6". I'm like, no, I know a lot of other 5'6" guys getting matches. Let me look at your profile. I look at his profile, and it's downright embarrassing. I mean, one of the pictures is of his dog licking his face. I'm like, bro, if I was a girl and I saw that picture, I'd be grossed out that you're pretty much French kissing your dog on your first picture. That's a problem. The other problem is that you're over here, the way that you're standing and the way that you're making your face like, I mean, what are you doing? And as I'm breaking down the news to this guy, he has no clue. He's like, well, what do you mean? I'm just doing my regular face. I'm like, no, your regular face is like this. But in the picture, you're making your face like you're trying to make yourself have some cheekbones. You don't have cheekbones like that, my dude. Unless you're going to lose weight, do not make that face again. You're doing a duck face. And when I said that to him, he was like, what the heck? It was tough love. This is a fraternity brother that I'm very close with. So I'm giving him some tough love. I'm like, yo, let me see your other pictures. And luckily for him, he had a lot of other pictures because he was delving into acting and he had to take headshots and those type of photos. So we were able to work with something. But other guys, if you're like, okay, man, these pictures suck. Let me look at your other pictures. They're like, well, that's all I have. That's all you have? Dude, you having such little pictures in the internet is not good for you at all. And it's so hard for me to make other men understand. Girls intuitively get something like this, but making other men understand, it's so freaking difficult. And not only does photography influence other people's perception of you, it also influences your own perception. So in that same day, when I was over here helping my fraternity brother with his dating profile, there was another fraternity brother I was chilling with. And this guy I haven't seen in a while. So we're talking. We're like, yo, when's the last time we saw each other? And we're thinking about it. We're like, no, not that event, not that event, not that event. Then I was like, wait a minute. We saw each other at KP's wedding. I recall sitting right next to this fraternity brother. And he's like, nope, I didn't go to that wedding. You didn't go to that wedding? No. You did go to that wedding. We were sitting right next to each other. And he's like, nope, wasn't me. I said, yes, it was you. I remember. And he said, trust me, dude, I didn't go to KP's wedding. I was doing X, Y, and Z at the same time. And now we were in a pickle. I can recall seeing him, and he is vehement in saying that he didn't go. Who's right and who's wrong? If we had a photo, we could immediately be like, oh, well, see, you were in the event. But at this point, I was doubting myself. It's like, wait a minute, am I thinking of someone else? And we're sitting in silence, trying to recall who's right. And then eventually, I just get this epiphany out of the blue moon. At that wedding, his brother was very important for the groom. So he had to be a part of all these events. And the brother decided to have this Mr. Pringles mustache to stick out. And I was like to the guy that I was debating with, dude, that was the wedding where your brother had the Mr. Pringles mustache. And when I said that, that's when it started to click. He was like, oh, wait a minute. I was at that wedding. What the heck? I completely forgot about that. So unless one of us recalled the Mr. Pringles scenario, we wouldn't have known. If we had a picture, everything would have been resolved. But notice what I said. At a certain point, even I was doubting myself. I was like, wait a minute, did we go there or not? This happens. I mean, one of my most meaningful trips was to Cozumel, Mexico, a couple of years back. I went on a cruise, and if you ever go on a cruise, they eventually stop by the lands and you could explore. I recall doing a bunch of stuff. I recall having this amazing tour guide. She was bringing up a lot of historical topics and making things so freaking compelling. And in 2023, I was trying to recall my trip from 2017, and I was struggling. I mean, I can't recall it in detail. And nowadays, it just feels like I dreamed Cozumel, Mexico. It doesn't feel like I was actually there. If I took pictures, then it would have felt like I was there. You see? So as I'm getting older, I'm understanding the practical utility of taking pictures. It doesn't only affect one's perception with the outside world, it also affects one's perception with oneself.